Batman, The Long Halloween, The Last Halloween, issue 1, Jeff Loeb writing with Eduardo Rizzo on the art. So, yeah, I was looking forward to this. Obviously, Jeff Loeb's output in the last 20 years has been very hit or miss, but something about The Long Halloween kind of like continuity in world, when he comes back to it, it just seems to fit like a glove where, yeah, it sounds like Jeff Loeb, like that I like again. It sounds like, you know, he's playing in the playpen that he built, and yeah, and I will say as well, Eduardo Rizzo is such a solid kind of choice. I know he's only doing one issue; it's a different artist every issue, but if they announced him as the artist for the whole book after this issue, I'd be like, you know what, he's the perfect choice to like emulate
thematically. Because when I think of Rizzo, I think of Azzarello stuff, which is very hard boiled and pulpy, kind of detective type stuff. So the fact that here is kind of, that's what the vibe is. So I read all of Dark Victory this week.
That's right.
all 13 issues. And I don't like it as much as Long Halloween. It's still really solid.
No, to be fair, I don't think most do, but it is a really solid sequel.
Yeah, it's a solid sequel. I got so wrapped up in all the moving pieces that when everything was revealed, I thought it would have been a bigger deal. And I'm still kind of confused as to some of it. And maybe those threads will get picked up here. But that said, having read all of that and then jumping into the issue 0 and this, I don't necessarily yes, I get more informed. I don't think if you haven't read it, you should gang through 13 issues in 3 days to catch up.
I mean, I recommend it as a book, but I mean, whether or not you want to squeeze it in now or whatever's.
I think you could jump in here with the 0, and I think they give you everything you kind of need to go on.
I think this issue in particular, because even though the issue 0 was kind of reprinted last week, this does do a job of saying, hey, there was this serial killer called the Holiday Killer. It was Alberto Falcone and blah, blah, blah. And because these killings went on for a year, he called it the Long Halloween, right? It started in Halloween and ended the following Halloween, so that's kind of how it got its name. And it just kind of reiterates that this was all the story of Harvey and Gilda, and that they've been missing for a year, which kind of brings us up to date and gets us onto stuff. So the story really properly kicks off. Even though it's nice that it starts with Harvey flipping the coin because he's such a big part of Long Halloween. Yeah. It starts off with Barbara Senior, that is Jim's wife, and Jim Gordon taking young James Jr. out trick or treating, and Jim Gordon insisted that his son go as Batman for Halloween, which it's such
weird
a weird
flex, my guy. You know how much damage Batman's caused for you.
So weird
over the years, right? Like all of Dark Victory is someone trying to kill Gordon, the Hangman, right? I don't get dressing yourself up as Batman.
You know,
I just don't.
I think I actually kind of get it in context of the 0 issue, because Babs went as Batgirl before Batgirl was a thing, right? That was in the 0 issue. I kind of feel like this is Jim, especially if his son here, continuity-wise, is going to become James Jr. in the mainline continuity, which is a killer. I wonder if this is a sign that he knows his son's kind of weird, and he's like, "Hey, Barbara Gordon's much better. She went as a Batman. You could go as a Batman too, son."
What you want to do is pit your kids against each other. Also, the naming conventions, man. It's Jim and Barbara, and then Barbara and Jim Jr.
I know.
Oh God.
And technically, it's not Barbara Jr. Although, for easy sake, I would probably just say that for. Because it's obviously it's the niece, but to be honest though, when we say Barbara Gordon, we think of Barbara Gordon.
Yeah, I always forget that's what Jim's. But in mainline continuity, it is his daughter.
Yes.
So I have a hard time believing that they named the kids after themselves. So. Yeah,
I guess we'll just refer to the wife as Babs Senior.
Right, she doesn't want to be called Mrs. Gordon, as we find out. She's Barbara. She lets the police know multiple times.
Well, it's a bit of a Holly Gennaro kind of thing going on here. The marriage is clearly stressed. I mean, Batman in his narration even says, Gordon's marriage isn't doing so hot because he's so committed to being, police commissioner Jim Gordon. Yeah. But yeah, basically the story here is that someone has kidnapped James Jr. Right. Well, whilst they're fighting with each other, the kid goes missing. His candy and stuff is left behind. Batman's with Robin, And I actually really like this because Robin's still kind of a new thing, right? Robin's been around for a year, right? So this is set a year after Dark Victory, pretty much.
Yep.
And basically, Robin is making suggestions about Catwoman, or he's making suggestions about what to do and how to investigate things. And I love that the narration from Batman's like, this is harder when I'm not alone. Like the idea that there's a lot of value in Robin, but it's also like hindering like how he approaches things, and he doesn't have the same freedom to just do what he thinks is right all the time.
Yeah, it's me when I go to a concert with somebody else. I'm like, if I was by myself, I'd be at the front. You know, it's Bruce like, man, if I didn't have a kid slowing me down, I'd get so much more done. But yeah, you know, I also feel, again, to go with we talked last week, like I feel like in this story already feeling the legacy aspect of things, right? And that it's Bruce learning to be a parental figure, right? And so this is his starting point. So he's kind of like, I'm going to bring the kid along because it's good for him. He's Dr. Grant at the beginning of Jurassic Park.
You've got like Batman being a parental figure to Robin. You've got Jim with his son being like a big and because Babs was interested in the Zero issue, I assume she's going to show up in the main book at some point as well. You've also got Selina here because they're spying on like the old Falcone home, and the one remaining family member who's still alive, Mario Falcone, is back, and Selina's in there looking at the family portrait, and she's like, hey, this used to have like a baby in the mother's lap, but it's been kind of cropped out. And Mario catches her, and he's like, how do you know that? And I think the implication, and for those of you who don't remember this from Long Halloween, one of the big reveals is that Selina is actually the daughter of Carmine Falcone, which is actually something they kept for the Batman, the movie. They
because they kind of hinted at that. I remember when I read Year One, is that she kind of hints that she knows more about the Falcones than you know, they don't, than she doesn't. So yeah, and then they also, that was the thing that now that I forgot that I just spaced on, they bring up in Dark Victory when she's talking to Sophia, is she goes, we're more alike than you would ever think, you know? So I like that they're also hinting at that here, where she's looking up and she knows that there was a baby in that painting.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like this is definitely a sequel in that it's like connecting to all the threads that were in those books, like Selina being a part of the Falcone family by blood, introduction of Robin, the Harvey Gilda stuff, the legacy of the Holiday Killer, which became the Hangman, and now there's some sort of copycat Holiday Killer, which we're just about to get to, because when Batman and Robin chase Selina when she leaves the building, which Batman doesn't seem to want to do, Robin just kind of goes off and does it, and he just has to go along with it because Robin's done it, and Batman's narrating about the arrogance of youth and like how Robin feels the need to impress him, but he doesn't want to be impressed, he just wants Robin to be alive. There's a great 2-page spread of like them diving through the air at Catwoman when she's doing like a flip in the rain, and there's like neon signs behind them for like the Gotham Theater or whatever. Really cool. Like just,
so it says Wayne Plaza and then fingers, so like Pelfinger. It's a nice little shout out.
I think the idea is we're just seeing like a merger of a bunch of neon signs coming together. So yeah, like Catwoman like ties up Robin a little bit with her
Ebolas,
that's what I was looking for. And he lands on his feet, he's fine, but he's mad at Batman, stops to check her, and he's like, hey, I'm your partner, not a liability, get going. But when Batman goes down into the alleyway, he finds a gun, specifically the same type of gun that the Holiday Killer used, with a smashed pumpkin, and he's like, wait, does this imply that someone's going to be the new Holiday Killer? And it's like, we have to deal with this, blah blah blah. The bat signal goes up in the sky, so Batman goes off while Robin stays behind with the crime scene, and they don't know if, like, did Selina have something to do with this, or did someone take Selina and leave this behind? It's a bit unclear right now, open for mystery. But we cut to Mrs. Gordon. That's a good, I'll call her Mrs. Gordon, that's actually quite good. That works. And she's talking to the police and saying, hey, shouldn't you be looking for her? And they're like, hey, didn't he go missing once before? And I'm sure that was something that happened in Long Halloween or something.
It was in Long Halloween, but he was a baby, as she points out.
That's right, yeah. So, and she breaks down into her arms, and she's really upset. It's a whole thing. I love this panel, though, when it's Gordon in front of the bat signal, and he's, like, in complete, like, sort of silhouette, other than his eyes and mustache, and he's like, my son, they took my son. And Batman's like, we'll find him. And
this is the most Tim Sale inspired page I feel in this book.
Oh sure, yeah, it's because you've got the sort of harsh bat light behind them, so you've got those yellow backgrounds as they're talking to each other.
the heavy shadows, like a Batman who cuts a silhouette, but as Gordon's looking at him, you get the highlights, right? The glasses, the hair, the shirt and stuff like that. It looks very much like Tim Sale.
Yeah, for sure. And it's basically says, hey, how would you feel if someone kidnapped Robin? And then he apologizes because he realizes that's not he says the Robin, which gave me a chuckle because yes. I like it because this idea where Robin's still a new idea and he doesn't really know what to call him yet. But he's like, Batman brings up the Holiday Killer, of course. He's like, no, why does it have to be Halloween? It's another Halloween. So we cut away to Solemn Grundy, who we know is working for the Dents right now, and someone takes him out, puts a chain around him, pulls him into like the horrible toxic sewer or whatever's down there, and they break in and get to the Dents, and they're wearing, and honestly, I would describe this as exactly the clown mask that Joker has at the start of The Dark Knight. It is that mask.
It's 100%.
Right? And it's just two goons, and then there's like a leader who's also got like a clown mask on.
Yep.
And Harvey even says, like, clowns, are you guys working for the Joker? Because you don't know who you're dealing with.
Yep.
And this third person, the leader with the clown mask on, shoots Harvey in the stomach. Now, I don't think this is Joker, necessarily.
No.
It's intentionally mysterious. I think the thing that was getting me is that I couldn't tell. None of the panels made it clear if the gun he used matched the Holiday Killer gun. It was hard to tell because you never get a clear shot of the gun he's using.
No, it's in his hand though. If you look at after Harvey gets shot,
and but it's so small and like a big panel that I wasn't sure if that was just like, you know, how intentional the thin barrel is in that shot. But I mean, it very well might be.
I think it's meant to be that 22.
Sure.
That was the signature of Holiday with the taped up. So it's someone who has significant knowledge of the Holiday Killer, right?
Yeah,
because they're leaving the same gun behind.
Yeah. Oh no, you're right. The last page, it leaves it on the floor. Sorry, I'm an idiot. I never even noticed that. I was too busy focusing on the
if it
mask.
was Joker or not.
Yeah. Well, I never thought it was Joker, but like because whoever it is takes the mask off and says, "We're going to talk, Gilda, about Holiday, or this will be your last Halloween," and then leaves the mask on the floor. I never noticed the gun was right next to it.
Yeah.
So yeah, whoever this new Holiday Killer is was wearing this clown mask and knows a lot about the Dents. Yep. So
also just the whole idea of him showing up as Joker too, knowing how, again, I just read Dark Victory, knowing how that ends with Joker. I do like that Harvey automatically is like,
remind the audience and myself, Matt.
Yeah. So man, I just read it during the week. So I think Joker goes rogue, right? And he tries to he ends up trying to turn on Harvey, but Harvey makes a getaway. Right. So I don't think that he wouldn't come knocking on the door. Right. He would try to sneak up because it ends in the Batcave. I remember that much. And that's where Batman's like, oh, we got to dynamite everything around there. And Joker gets away into the tunnels that are beneath the Batcave. So I don't think he'd come knocking on Harvey's door wearing a mask. Right. Because I think he's past that, but whoever it is wants them to think that it's Joker, right? Because why else show up in the clown mask? But I do like that Harvey's like, who do you think you're messing with, right? He's like, if you worked for the Joker, you have no idea who you're dealing with, right? So
yeah, I wonder if, like, other than being themed around holidays, if each kill is going to be themed around a Batman villain. So the idea is that this one he leaves like a clown mask behind representing Joker. But if next one he leaves like a cat behind or
no, even if it's whoever he's going after, right? It'd be like a half mask for Two-Face,
This was Two-Face.
Right. But I don't know, like
so
just whoever the victims are,
Well, yeah, but this would be the Joker one for Two-Face, so I don't think that applies. Now, also, is Harvey actually dead? I don't know. The last panel looks like there's like blood coming from his head, as if he was shot in the head as well. But I don't think he was actually shot there though, because he was only shot once, and that seems more like just like some blood get dripped on his head, maybe from Gilda's hands.
There's two casings though, right?
That's true. There is two casings. Yeah.
Which fits in, but I don't think it's a headshot. I do think it's definitely the gut.
I feel like if it was a headshot, I'll criticize the art for not having like even just like a little black bit in the middle that makes it look like a hole, because it just looks like there's some blood sort of like on his head. Yeah. That said, though, it's kind of a big deal if Two-Face is just outright dead. If they start off the last chapter, the trilogy ender of Long Halloween with the death of Harvey Dent, that's kind of a big deal.
That's huge because he is a de facto third character, like the third main character in Long Halloween and Dark Victory. So, it'd be like killing Gordon at the beginning. You're like, what is going on? Yeah,
it makes me think that it's someone that Two-Face did something to, or maybe something that Gilda did something to back in like Long Halloween or Dark Victory.
Well, because there was always those theories in Long Halloween that it was Gilda that was actually Holiday, or at least responsible for a couple of the killings. Yeah, it wasn't all Alberto.
Yeah, I think I read that Alberto was the main Holiday killer, but at some point Gilda used the mantle to kill a couple of people before the end.
And so if Long Halloween was the birth of the freaks, right? And then Dark Victory is the freaks taking over from the traditional crime families, right? Is this the echo of that? Is this someone else from the crime family pushing back, right? Or is this one of the other freaks?
It could be the freaks evolving into something larger than life or something like that. Yeah, there's many possibilities, but obviously I was expecting a murder at the end of the book because both of the previous books were murder mysteries. They both had killers, and it's particularly the end of the first issue of both. Like, I always remember the end of issue 1 of Dark Victory because it ends with that great page revealing someone being like, hanged at the bridge.
Yep.
Hanged. Hung is when you've got a big penis, Matt.
Hunged, whatever. Drink, drunk. Who knows?
When someone is hanged, it's always hanged. You've never been hung.
True.
Right? You've been hanged. So, you've learned something today. Yeah. But yeah, no, I really like this. This felt like it slotted right back into feeling like Long Halloween for me. I like the new mystery. I like Batman dealing with Robin as a partner, and then the kidnapping of James Jr. I think is an interesting wrinkle as well on top of everything else.
Just that page where he's there and then gone and all that's left is his candy bucket, right, and his umbrella. It was so it did so much with not a lot, right? Because there's not a lot of dialogue or anything. It's mainly the pictures telling the story. So that's and it had the vibe of Halloween as well. So
yeah, I think the big thing here is just like obviously the art's going to be different every single issue. So the issue qualities might feel a bit variant just depending on that, but yeah, we'll see. I'm in for the ride though, for sure. This is a 10-issue series, not 12, which is interesting because it means we won't get to next Halloween.
Right, because it'll be done.
Yeah, it says 1 of 10. Maybe they're assuming there's going to be a couple of delays.
Maybe.
They're planning for it. They're saying, like, we're expecting at least 2 delays. That'll get us to October next year for the finale. So,
and the next artist is Klaus Janson. So we are feasting.
Okay. Good stuff. Also, minor coloring touch here I really like is that Gilda's wearing like a jumper, or sorry, a sweater for the Americans. And I love that it's like a combination of the 2 different sides of Two-Face's suit, because Two-Face has got like one side that's black and white stripes and the other side's purple and white stripes. She has black and purple stripes, so she's got like a sort of matching top. I don't know. I like that as a touch. She's wife to both halves. It's very nice. We've come a far cry from Batman Forever, where there's like a goth chick on one side and like a angel chick on the other. Yeah,
and Drew Barrymore on the other.
Which is really funny to think. Drew Barrymore was in her 20s in that movie, and Tommy Lee Jones was already like 50 or something like that. It's so funny to think about, but I guess whatever.
Two-Face was a scourge. Yeah, a scourge though. So
that's true.
It checks out.
That's true. So there you go. I was expecting like a bigger page count, just purely because there's a lot of back matter. There's like bonus stuff at the back with like pages with no colors and like sort of things like that.
So I knew I had a bunch left digitally, right? Because it says out of however many, and then it ended. I was like, whoa, what happened? I didn't realize there was all the back matter.
Yeah.
So
it was a quicker read than I thought. I honestly, if this was 30 pages, I'd have been fine with it. But I'll happily take 10 issues of this. Yeah, I'm down. I'm down. I'm into it. So, hey, just goes to show, even if the main Batman book sucks, you've got 5 other good ones to read, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Right? It's fine. What are you giving the last Halloween issue 1?
I'm going to give this a straight 8.
I'm going to give it a 9.
Okay.
I like it a lot. I love The Long Halloween, I think for a lot of Bat fans, is like one of the first books they read, because they'll read year 1, they might read a couple other things, but they'll usually read Long Halloween early on. So it's usually quite a formative book if you were getting into comics. Anytime sort of this side of the century, you know, like anytime after 2000, if you were getting into comics, you probably read Long Halloween early on. And that was true for me. It was like the second or third, yeah, probably third book I ever read. So there's a lot of connection there.